Okay, we're back into public session. We have our consent items, FA1 to D.2. Again, like we normally do, if you have any questions, we'll entertain those. If you want to pull a item out and vote on it separately, we can do that. Right now, I need a motion to move forward our consent items from FA1 to D.2. Motion. Motion by Mike, second by Heather. Discussion?
That includes the addendum that we were just
Yes, I'm sorry.
Correct.
I'm sorry, that includes the addendum for appointment of middle school principal and school business administrator.
My only question was, I didn't see, we have a school monitor resigning. Is she taking another position with the district, or that's goodbye to Ms. Giangrasso?
No, she is actually retiring from New York State. She can't retire from our district, but has to sever employment to be able to get her retirement through New York State. She is going to stay on as a substitute.
She's being.
I'm happy to hear that, thank you.
Well, and she's also being appointed as an elections inspector later.
I did see that, but
Yes.
that's a different, yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? So carried.
So, Mr. Barone, I'd like to introduce and congratulate Andy Carnwright as our middle school principal. And also with us this evening is Mr. Desmond Barnett, who will be our school business administrator starting July 1st. Welcome, Desmond.
Congratulations, good luck to both of you. Okay, moving on, Dr. Boyd, you're up.
Good evening. We have been preparing for our newest students coming in the fall. We had our kindergarten screening on Friday, and we've been going out to preschools to visit some of these students. We have some more visits planned over the next few weeks, and then we'll be holding some meetings for some of our students coming in who'll be receiving services. So we're getting well underway with that, so we're ready for September. Yesterday, we had our biannual Medicaid meeting with our advisory group. Our total claim value for the 22-23 school year was $240,000. As of up to March of this year, we were at $251,000. So we'll be seeing another pretty decent increase this year from those services. So again, kudos to all the staff for the paperwork and getting all that in to get those reimbursable services. So thank you to all of them.
Just,
Any questions?
Dr. Boyd, thank you very much for that good news with the Medicaid reimbursements. We all know where we were 10, 12 years ago with those numbers. So thank you.
And we're told there's some things coming out to try to help streamline it to make it a little bit easier. So hopefully that comes to fruition. But yeah, it's all the staff with all their dedication to doing that, to making sure all their notes and everything gets in. So.
Okay, Mr. Zimmer.
Good evening, everyone. I have a few updates for you. Last Thursday, May 2nd, I attended Navigating Pre-K Day, hosted by the Office of Early Learning at the Cultural Education Center in Albany. In addition to having the opportunity to engage in a one-on-one conversation with our region's designated representative, the day included opening remarks from Commissioner Betty Rosa, pre-K highlights from the field, and a pre-K funding update. Optional sessions included literacy briefs and what it means for pre-K, building relationships and environments to foster positive behavior and inclusion, and pre-K best practices. It was a day well spent there. Speaking of universal pre-K, we will be able to offer a total of 82 seats for our UPK program for the 24-25 school year. As of 5:30 PM today, we have received 69 applications for the UPK lottery. I do encourage any community member who has a child eligible for pre-K to apply. The lottery application window closes this Friday, May 10th. After we hold the lottery, we will email each applicant to let them know whether their child was selected or placed on the waiting list. A reminder to parents, students must turn 4 years old on or before December 1st, 2024 to be eligible. And again, I'd like to emphasize that the application deadline is this Friday, May 10th, and I encourage all those eligible to apply. And finally, congratulations are in order for the high school social studies social studies teacher, Christina Saylor, and her exceptional students in the Citizenship in Actions class. Their civic showcase last Tuesday was a testament to their hard work and dedication. The evening illuminated their remarkable civic project and capstones, showcasing their commitment to active citizenship. Well done to all the students, and congratulations.
Any questions for Mr. Zimmer?
Yes, could you please give an update on CBT testing? Just last week was elementary, I believe, and just any
Yes,
issues with CBT testing and opt-outs as well?
I don't have the numbers for opt-outs, but I did ask the principals to include them in there for the next board meeting because they're still going on. So at the middle school, we had ELA, today was day one. Had an extension because of the circumstances. Today was day one of ELA, tomorrow will be day two. Thursday is the science test for 8th grade, and next Wednesday and Thursday, Tuesday and Wednesday will be the math for middle school. Last week, the elementary school gave the ELA test without a problem. Everything went well. And today was day one of their math test, and things went well. I would like to thank Rich and Chris Faxon for their help making sure that everything went very smoothly. So I did speak with the principals and asked them to make sure to include an update at the next board meeting once everything's wrapped up. Thank you.
Bill, actually, my wife and I attended the civic readiness night. Very impressive, the work that all those students, to a person. You know, every project was well spoken about and supported, and very impressive. And look forward to seeing what next year will bring.
I wholeheartedly agree, and I look forward to the program expanding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Superintendent?
Okay, so as I mentioned during the budget presentation, we will be presenting tomorrow morning at Rotary, middle school, high school PTA meetings in the coming week. Elementary PTA was last night. Faculty and staff meetings will get a copy of the video. That video went up today at 4 o'clock. It's posted to the website and Facebook. The budget newsletter has been digitized, and that is on the website and Facebook. It should be in mailboxes within the next week. And complete budget books are found in all district offices and building offices and the library. And again, one more reminder, the vote is 2 weeks from today, May 21st, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. in the high school band room. The district administration met this week with our outgoing administrator for data and assessment, and we are working very closely during this next month to reassign some duties across the current administration to take up the data work that needs to be accomplished. Just a reminder, next Thursday night, the UXPA meeting. If you have not RSVP'd to Lisa, please do so this week. The topic, I'm told, is going to be artificial intelligence, so it should be interesting. We have a follow-up support services meeting this coming in 2 weeks on Monday, May 20th at 3 p.m. And we have one emergency day to give back, and there will be a resolution on the next board meeting to return that day to the calendar on May 24th. Please also mark your calendars for spring concerts. The elementary school is June 3rd, middle school is June 5th, high school is June 6th. All of those concerts will take place at 6 p.m. in the high school auditorium, and we will disassemble the classroom that is on that stage during that time so that the stage can be used for our students and those concerts. A letter went out a few days ago about moving up ceremonies. Middle school and elementary school ceremonies will take place here at the high school in the gymnasium. And some may say, how is that possible? We have classrooms in there. After Regents Week start, we will start disassembling the gymnasium and move the middle school students from classes in those spaces to classrooms that are not used by high school students, and we will segment out the Regents exams down a different hallway. So elementary school is on June 20th, middle school moving up is on June 21st. Question came up on Facebook that came to the district office about how many tickets are available for those ceremonies. The building principals will be sending communication out to their families in the coming week or two to get that information out. High school graduation is scheduled for Tuesday, June 25th on the outfield of the baseball field with the view of Illinois Mountain in the background. So it is, we think it's going to be just as beautiful as a ceremony as it is when it's on the football field. There is a rain contingency that would be in the high school gymnasium. We hope that doesn't have to be the case. We've all been in that gymnasium for a high school graduation, and it is definitely not as grand as the ones that are held outside with the background. But we will have it on June 25th, rain or shine, because the next day we will be full force into the building project. More details will be coming out from the building principals.
Any questions for our superintendent? Okay, under Board of Education, new business. Polling service agreement, Highland Central School District and Ulster County Board of Elections. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, based upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the attached polling service agreement between Highland Central School District and the Ulster County Board of Elections for the annual meeting, which will take place on May 21st, 2024. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Janine, second by Camille. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Capital project change orders. Change order number 1, Cerrone Construction Track Fence Finishing. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, hereby approves the Cerrone Construction Change Order CICSC 205003, Phase 2, High School, as presented to the board at this meeting. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Mike, second by Ed. Discussion?
Only question I have on this item are, do these shot clocks light up or are tied to also the backboard that lights up? Any of that stuff?
They're actually, the game clocks are the two different sports, right? For lacrosse and football.
Oh, is this for the field? For some reason, I was thinking
Out on
interior.
the field, yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Not,
fair.
not basketball.
Oh, okay.
No, no, this is on the field.
I got you.
I'm sorry, I have to read the change order number CO1, description of work, Highland High School track fence finish, amount $7,100.
Yeah, that was not what he was talking about.
Yeah,
He was talking about number 2.
yeah.
I was talking about the one I motioned for, which is the power
Is-
for shot and play clocks.
Yeah, he didn't get to that one yet.
We didn't get to that one
Oh,
yet.
you didn't?
So you
Oh,
motioned to
sorry.
the other one.
That's okay.
Motion by Mike, second by Ed. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Change order number 1, J&J Sash Electrical Power for Shot and Play Clocks. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, hereby approves J&J Sash Electrical Change Order CICEC 2040018 as presented to the board at this meeting. Change order number 1, allowance disbursement, description of work, Highland High School Power for Shot and Play Clocks, amount $21,307.90. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Camille, second by Tom. Discussion? All all those in favor? Opposed? So carried. Change order number 2, J&J SAS Electrical Site Electrical Revisions. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, hereby approves the J&J, it's actually JJ SAS Electrical Change Order CIC EC 204003 Site Electrical Revisions as presented to the board at this meeting. Change order number CO2 Allowance Disbursement, description of work, Highland High School Electrical Site Work, amount $5,207.13. Have a motion, please. Motion by Tom, second by Ed. Discussion?
Just for accuracy, is this change order number 3 in this list? No.
No, I asked the same question, since
So-
this is the second one for SAS. So
Oh,
the
understood,
first one
okay.
is Saron, then on here, the second and third ones are the first and second for SAS.
Thank you.
Yep.
And just an FYI, this money comes out of an allowance that's already built into their contracts. Once they exceed that allowance, then if there is a change order, it'll come back to the board and it'll be an actual change order. This is actually considered an allowance disbursement. Okay, all those in favor of change order 2 for SAS?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. If you need any explanation,
Can
just
I
let
ask
me
a
know.
quick question? You said that they were allowance disbursements, but the first one with, the first change order
We're
for the
Going to
fence
clarify
doesn't
that
say
one.
that.
That should probably be an allowance
Okay.
disbursement.
Yes, it is.
That's an allowance disbursement. Okay, moving on, old business. You ready for a little bit of cell phone discussion? I'll be brief. I mean, I did pull out Mike's draft policy that he sent to us a while ago. And then, like I said to the board, look at some of the policies that other districts have set up. And I took, I made copies if you want. I want a copy. Let me just send it around. This is
For me or
Bruce.
just for them?
You can keep one.
Okay.
I might have enough.
If not, you guys keep it, and then you can
Here,
give me
here's
one,
one.
and
You
I'll
got
put
it.
it in the Friday update.
This one is from Brewster High School, and this goes into their student code of conduct policy, and it talks about, where it starts off due to inappropriate and excessive use of cell phones in schools. Brewster Central School has instituted a cell phone policy. This policy should curb the non-instructional use of cell phones and encourage all students to focus on learning. And then it lists what they expect from the policy, and then if the students violate the cell phone policy, what the infractions are. So, I mean, that's something that we can draft and build on our cell phone policy if that's the direction the board wants to take as far as minimizing the use of cell phones in the classroom.
Are you proposing that this to be?
Just
for the
FYI,
policy
this
or
is
the
information from another district. I believe Joel had given us Valley Central also in there. But I'm sure there's other districts out there that are starting a dialogue regarding cell phone use in the classroom.
I appreciate this, Al. I'm going to take some time and take a look through it. It also has some offenses listed, in some details, so I appreciate the additional information.
Just based on what the draft that you shared with us, looking at policy 7316, and I'm looking at the third paragraph where it says devices must be stored in book bag or other bag or location. So just wondering how feasible that is, if they, kids don't carry, they carry around a book bag or another bag, just, so I think just being, I don't know if that's what all of our students do here. They all carry around something where they could actually put it someplace. That was just one question I had with that. For the non-instructional uses and non-instructional spaces, just spelling out AUP in that first sentence, just spelling out to acceptable use policy there. I'll give this to you. And
I think that 7317 is a typo, because I don't think we have do we have a 7313?
No, that would be a proposed policy
That's
number or
just a-
something like
policy.
that. You know,
Yeah,
I'm,
that's
just-
fine.
it's a draft, right?
yeah, so that was just really more or less a question for the building principals and administration about just is that something that students could adhere to by either putting in the book bag or the location.
What's the feeling of the board at this point? I mean, do you want to move forward and looking at drafting a policy obviously before September, because I think we want to implement it in September. If that's the case, I think we have to really, accelerate our research and how we want to develop this policy and how we want to include possibly into the student code of conduct, the infractions. So,
Yeah, I think we should definitely look at having one in place by August, so that the administration can be
Yes.
familiar with it and the teachers, yeah.
I must say, I'm very impressed that the board does feel the need to move forward. If I heard Dr. Paff that evening, I thought that he was asking for like an additional year to kind of remedy this themselves. Was that not the message? Did you hear that, Mr.
Well,
Fear?
let me clarify that. Dr. Paps, I think the idea of letting the students be heard and be a part of the communication, I think that's very valuable. And I think we should do that. But I think the students that are currently in the high school now would be best equipped to participate in that discussion. I know we're running out of time, but
Yeah.
it's something we could accomplish in June, I would think. Have an open discussion with participating individuals, all the people who have a stake, all the stakeholders, and come up with
June's
something
such
we
a
can
busy,
refine.
I mean,
over July.
I can't speak for that. June's just crazy, but,
no, I mean,
hear
if you're
you.
looking at August, we only have 3 meetings until we hit that August meeting, because we only have one in July, one in August. We have one in June, which is more or less our celebration meeting.
So I'm saying we form a committee of stakeholders now in May. That committee of stakeholders, they engage in June. By the end of June, they submit their recommendations. The board reviews it in July, and we pass a new policy in August. Seems feasible.
I just have to speak up on behalf of the students. If you're going to ask students to be part of like a focus group in June, at the secondary level, I think we're taking their eye off of being prepared for Regents exams. So I don't know that June is the best month for them. I did hear Dr. Paff say that that was something that the high school was working on. I could give this back to Dr. Murphy and Mr. Opitz, and they could start that conversation. But I don't know that June, I just don't know that June is the right month for students to be engaged in this when they should be focusing on those exams.
Point taken, very much. My only concern on the other side of this is if we don't do it before the summer, then we've got a whole nother year.
I absolutely agree. And if we're looking at making any code of conduct changes, our code of conduct has been reviewed and is going to need to be adopted by the board in early July. We're supposed to adopt that every year by July 1st, or at the reorg meeting. And not to talk badly about what we've done in the past, but we've not always hit those milestone dates. And I am committed to making sure that our policies, our code of conduct, our building safety plan that needs to have a 30-day public period that gets put up and needs to be put in place before school starts. I would just hate to drag that and not have something adopted and in place for September. So, yes, this has been a long conversation, but I do think I heard very clearly from the high school staff that they're having learning circles, they're having these conversations. I do think it's important that we value that.
Can we get that feedback within this month? Before we hit to
I
the-
can give that to them. Some of those students that you're gonna wanna hear from are right now in the next 2 weeks engaged in AP exams.
Right.
So I'm not sure if you're gonna get a full representation of students.
I mean,
It sounds like we're
completely
pushing it
respect
off and
that.
pushing it off, and
Yeah,
I
I know,
don't wanna
and-
do that, but on the same hand, I don't think we should put any barriers in the way of students doing their absolute best on these exams.
I wholeheartedly agree with that, Joel, but again, I don't see, if we end up pushing this past a resolution, then we've got an entire another year, and we've already heard the significant concerns, so I think maybe shame on us for not having acted in this past month. But hindsight, right? So there has to be a way that we can, I mean, I've watched you wonderful people move an entire building into this building in a matter of a week. So I think there's gotta be a way we can come up with a,
I guess my only concern is we started this conversation probably back in December and January. Mike drafted this draft policy in March 19th, I believe it was. And here we are, in May, and we're still, discussing cell phone policy. I mean, if we're not going to make a decision for September and make part of our policy and part of the student code of conduct, then we ought to just start up a conversation again in September. I mean, unless we can get some feedback prior to that, by the end of this month, and Joel's indicating AP exams and,
I mean, I can give it to the high school administration and have them see if they can get those conversations together. But I'm concerned that we aren't gonna.
understood,
You know.
but, I mean, right now, the will of the board, do you want to just drag it out and start the conversation again up in September? Or we move it forward and act on it before the end of the school year?
I agree that this time of year is a horrible time to ask the staff to put together something as far as feedback and with trying to close out the school year, school within a school, right? There's just a lot of things. So I think the timing to go back to the administration and say, can you do this? However, I am in favor of putting, the policy that Mike shared, just putting something in place with using district devices. So we spend a lot of money with district devices. There's a lot of value to using these in the classroom. So I feel like there needs to be something at a minimum to do that. As far as the code of conduct, you can open that up at any point in time as needed, but I feel like if you're going to make changes to the code of conduct, I think that's where we get the involvement of the students, the teachers, the families, about a policy that you can put in place with the code of conduct. I think that's where I'd rather see the time put into with the code of conduct with the enforcement versus saying just using district, not to use non-district devices during the school day.
Perhaps we need to convene the policy committee. And in that committee, just because of the nature of this policy, we may want to invite the high school principal, Dr. Path, and we'll take a look at where the mindset is, look at some of these draft policies, and then I'll report back to the board. All right, so let's you and I talk and get something on the calendar for the policy committee, and we'll look to advise the board.
Michael, in that meeting, would it be possible, if you're inviting Dr. Path, to invite some of the students who had been invited? If it's one meeting, just one meeting, to allow their input.
I'm not going to limit participation. The more the merrier. I'll leave that to administration. But I'm talking about meeting sooner rather than later. Top priority, right?
Everybody's okay with that? That's how we'll move forward. All right.
I'll speak to Dr. Murphy in the morning, and I'll have him organize the conversation so that he can find kids, staff, anyone who's available, and maybe he can coordinate with you your schedule. All right?
Okay, moving forward under miscellaneous, Ulster County School Board Association, the meeting notice, I believe it's this next Thursday, correct?
Correct.
So if you're looking to go, please let Lisa Siniglia know. That being said, is there anything else for the good and welfare of the district?
The only thing that I would just ask is that if each board member could please get back to me with what their availability is for the reorg meeting, so that we can get that scheduled, because we do need to publicize what we're going to do for that day.
You know what?
Can we
Let me
talk about it now?
RSVP.
Yeah, we can do that, yeah.
I'm good to go for the first, no matter what time you select.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
okay
there
with
was
6 in the
a
morning.
conversation on the table yesterday about starting at 7 a.m. So, and somebody said
I know it's
5:30
summer,
a.m.,
but-
Who
so-
said that?
I'm okay with 5:30 a.m.
I report at 9 a.m., no earlier.
I think for a couple members, it suggested 7:38, so they don't have to go to work, come back, and then go back to work. So 7:38 was convenient for a couple board members, so then they leave here, they go right to work.
I got you. Whatever needs to happen.
Well, Mike, we don't know if we're gonna be elected, so
One board member mentioned 7 o'clock.
And another one mentioned 5:30.
the first is good for me.
You'll have the
So
majority.
can we say 8 a.m.? Is everybody okay for 8 a.m.?
Come on.
What do we want to do, 7 or 7:30?
I'm good for either one of those.
I'm fine with either one.
All right. Jen,
Jen, you
okay?
open for this?
7?
So 7 a.m.?
7 a.m. works for me.
On July 1st?
What?
7 a.m. on July 1st.
7 a.m. July 1st. We'll get that as a resolution for the next meeting, because I think we have to approve that that's what we're going to do, unless you're going to adopt it right here, right now. We'll put it on the next meeting, and we'll go from there.
Can we put Mike's bringing coffee?
All our administrators are able to come in at 7 a.m. Okay.
Can I just say, I just wanted to say Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. That was it.
And I love the video that we put together and it's out on social media. That was a great video.
Yeah, I would just say that I think we should do that as much as possible. I think it gets the information out, and it's something that's shareable, and we can, everyone's always asking, how can we help? The biggest way you can help right now is to get that video shared out so that everyone in the community has an idea of what this budget entails.
I'm sorry. That July 1 meeting, would that be here at the high school in our normal meeting room, as in? Sure. Not cafeteria, right, that's why.
Yes, I believe,
By that point,
I believe E32 will be
E32.
available, and then on July 2nd, it won't. July 1st in the afternoon, it probably won't, but we'll make sure it's available that morning.
All right, thanks.
So Desmond, that's your first day.
Okay. Anything else for the good and welfare of the district? I'll open the meeting up to public comment for general items. Mary Ann, you had something? Oh, I thought you raised your hand. Okay. We'll close public comment and ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Camille, second by Tom. All those in favor? Opposed? So carried. Thank you all for coming out.